China. According to the IMF, China has passed the US as the world's largest economy. Now, that's based on something called purchasing power parity. Basically, that means $1 trillion in China buys you a whole lot more than $1 trillion here, purchasing power. Therefore, says the IMF, China's bigger than us. Monica Crowley has something to say about that, don't you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with that particular statistic, right? Plus, they have, 1.6 billion consumers and a growing middle class. I think that's the key, though. The key to, first of all, the key to political stability is a stable middle class, and that holds true for Western democracies, and it will hold true for China. But the middle class that has increased purchasing power, which gets to that point, I think what they're doing here is projecting a little bit into the future. China is not quite there yet, but they're getting there very rapidly.
Charles, what do you think? Look, I don't believe this. I believe that they are catching up to America, but I don't believe they're anywhere near as big as the United States of America. And they're certainly nowhere near as rich as we are.
They're near as rich, but they're minting a lot of rich people. I mean, you know, we just had the biggest IPO of ever, Alibaba. You know, if you look at where Burberry went public in the overseas in Asia, you look at where Mercedes-Benz wants to sell the most cars. Even GM, you know, that's a bigger market for them. But to Monica's point, they are in a pickle politically, because you've got these people who they've mentioned so many billionaires, and you've got people, once someone comes off the bicycle, you can never get them back on a bike. So they've got to keep this bad boy going. So they're going to have some growing pains, but I think we need to know that we're no longer the only game in town. After World War II, we had no competition. The most industrious nations, Japan and Germany, were in ruins. We had an ability to grow and become, by far, the greatest country in the world. You can argue since the mid-'70s, we put it in neutral, and this was bound to happen.
And remember, we had a top Chinese military general say that the competition with the United States and the West wasn't military per se, it was economic. And that what China is engaged in is economic warfare, not military warfare.
Okay.
That's the new front. And we think of cyber warfare, and all of that is a huge problem coming out of China, but it's the economic competition that is going to force the United States to really up its game.
Just give me 4–5% growth and a return to a capitalist mentality,
and tax reform, competition, the free market, reduce regulation.
You'll hear no more talk about China surpassing America.
You're right, but they're doing the things that you're talking about more than we are.
That is true.
It's crazy.
To be continued, shall we say that?
Sure.
All right.